You know, every single culture on Earth tells stories. From ancient myths, literally carved in stone, to the movies we're all streaming today. But here's the thing. Storytelling is so much more than just entertainment. It's one of the most powerful psychological tools we've ever developed. So let's dive in and find out why.
So, why us? Why are we the ones who are, as one author put it, the storytelling animal? Well, the answer gets right to the very core of what it means to be human, and it's all built on some pretty incredible evolutionary and psychological foundations.
All right, so first up, let's talk about survival. Because long before stories were a way to pass the time, they were quite literally a way to stay alive.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Early human life was packed with dangers: poisonous plants, predators hiding in the shadows, brutal winters. A really memorable story about a character's big mistake or a hero's clever solution. That is a way more effective way to pass on knowledge than just a boring list of rules. By attaching that life-saving info to emotion, the lesson actually sticks.
And this brings us to this really cool concept called cognitive simulation. See, when we get wrapped up in a tense story, our brain doesn't completely separate it from reality. In a very real way, we're running a flight simulator for life's biggest challenges, but without any of the real-world risk.
This ancient wiring is exactly why we're still so drawn to these themes today. Think about your favorite horror movie or that post-apocalyptic show you can't stop watching. They are basically modern-day survival training. They let us explore what to do when resources are scarce or how to spot a threat, all from the safety of our couch. And look, the data totally backs this up. When researchers analyze themes across folklore from all over the world, one theme just blew all the others away: survival. It accounts for a massive 60% of all the themes they found. It's the foundational story we just can't stop telling ourselves. But okay, stories don't just help individuals survive, they help whole groups thrive. You could even say they are the ultimate social glue. This quote here, it comes from a study of the Zarantine people in Brazil, and it just perfectly captures this idea. For the Zarante, emotions aren't just these private individual things. Nope, they're treated like a shared resource, a kind of currency that builds their entire community. They have what researchers call an emotional economy, which is just fascinating. Feelings like affection and respect are actively passed around through rituals and especially through the stories told by the elders. By sharing these stories and all the emotions that come with them, they build this incredibly strong collective identity that keeps the whole group together. You see, for any of us to cooperate, we need this critical skill called theory of mind. It's basically our ability to guess what's going on in someone else's head, what they want, what they believe, how they feel. It is the absolute bedrock of all our social lives. And guess what? One of the best ways to train this mental muscle is through stories. Anytime you read a detective novel trying to figure out who's lying, or you watch a drama to understand why a character is doing what they're doing, you're giving your theory of mind a full-on workout. Fiction is basically a gym for your social intelligence.
Okay, so stories help us survive and they help us connect as a group. But they also have this really profound personal impact on how we see ourselves and our own journey through life. The famous mythologist Joseph Campbell made this incredible discovery. He found that our most powerful myths, from ancient legends all the way to modern blockbusters like Star Wars, they all share a fundamental structure. It's a pattern that speaks to something really deep inside us about what it means to grow and change.
He called it the hero's journey. And we all know the beats, right? There's a call to adventure, you face some trials, overcome a huge challenge, and finally, you return home, transformed. We love this pattern because it's a mirror for our own psychological journeys of facing our fears and becoming a better, stronger version of ourselves.
But here's the really crucial point. The journey isn't just for the hero. The hero comes back with something valuable, some wisdom, a new tool, an elixir that is meant to serve the entire community. Our personal growth, just like in the stories, is ultimately meant to be shared to strengthen the whole group. And all of this leads us to what might be the most intimate and powerful function of storytelling, the way we use it to build our very own identity. It's the big one, right? The fundamental human question. And our answer to it isn't just a list of personality traits, it's a story. Psychologists have a name for this. It's called our narrative identity. It's that ongoing internal story we create about our own lives. We take all the messy, chaotic events from our past and we weave them into a coherent plot that explains who we are, where we've been, and maybe even where we're going. The process is actually pretty simple, but it is so profound. We live our lives, we pick out key memories, the high points, the low points, the big turning points, and then we connect them all into a narrative. That act of storytelling is what turns random events into a life that feels like it has meaning and purpose. And listen, this isn't just some nice philosophical idea. There is real science here. Tons of research shows that people who can create a coherent, meaningful story about their lives also report higher levels of happiness, resilience, and just better well-being overall. The story we tell about ourselves literally shapes the life we live. So when you pull all of these threads together, this amazing picture starts to emerge. Storytelling isn't some luxury, it's a basic human necessity. Survival, connection, meaning. From our earliest days, stories have been our blueprint for staying alive, the glue that holds our communities together, and the loom where we weave the very fabric of our own identity. They help us manage fear, build empathy, and create meaning out of what can sometimes feel like chaos. Because ultimately, we are not just the consumers of stories. We are the authors of them. We are all living a narrative, whether we realize it or not. So the only question left is, what story are you living?